Hey, this is JP with Central Idaho Mountain Weather. It is August 21st, 2024, reporting on the Wapiti Fire. I'm going to give you a brief history of the fire and leading up to what's going on today. So stay tuned. It's going to be kind of a longer video. This was a video or a photo from yesterday of a plume. This is all the way down the Wood River Valley looking north, but it definitely picked up with some activity as it has been the last couple of days. And if you are liking this broadcast, we ask that you can either do a one-time donation or become a sustaining monthly member. That really just helps out with all this production. All right, let's get into it. The Wapiti Fire started on July 24th around 9 p.m. It was a lightning strike on this hillside here, just south of Grand Jean. Grand Jean's over on the right here, the town of Grand Jean. Let me pull up this. So this is what it looks like on Google Earth. This is looking south. This is where the lightning strike was. There's a bunch of the Wapiti summer homes are here, and behind down to the southwest is Grand Jean. So then Boise National Forest was in control of it for a couple of weeks. It pretty much just stayed at a small size here. It wasn't really growing too much, wasn't burning hard. So they were able to kind of keep an eye on it as a lot of other fires started at the same time on July 24th. So the resources became pretty stretched. Now on the 9th is when it started to get bigger and started to get closer to some of these town or these summer homes, and they decided that they needed a complex management team to be brought in. So they reached out, and the Northern Rocky Complex team, Team 5, came out and assumed command on August 10th. They also grabbed a bunch of different fires and called it the Middle Fork Complex. So they're kind of overseeing a bunch of different fires in this area. All right, now where things really start to ramp up is on August 17th. So the fire remained pretty much, to about 100, maybe a couple hundred acres. The fire really started to get bigger on the 17th when the wind shifted direction. So they kind of got a little caught off guard. There wasn't supposed to be red flag warning for today or for August 17th. All these homes here, you can see there's a hand line put in. They actually did burning operations the day before on the 16th here to help this fire from being spread towards the Sawtooth Lodge and Grand Jean. And then the wind shifted directions and picked up quite a bit from the southeast and just blew this fire downhill. So pull this back on Google Earth and get up to where we're at. So the 16th here, the fire's burning down this hillside towards the homes right here. And then by the 18th, the fire hit the houses. It actually burned 6 structures. And then that night into the day of the 18th, it jumped the South Fork of the Payette River. It was showing extreme signs of fire behavior. There was group torching going on, so that's when the fire's growing in the understory of the trees. It gets up into the crown, and then it's like jumping from crown to crown with that wind. And it was, they also referred to that as, that's not important. The winds picked up quite a bit, and the embers were moving from crown to crown, and was able to really help this fire spread and start to become a little bit more out of control. All right, and then on the 19th, it doubled in size. So it hopped across the road, the Grand Jean Road, 524, I believe, and started working up its way towards this hillside. And that's when they started to get some air resources. Up until this point, they were just using hand crews, a bulldozer, and water tenders, which are just fire engines with tanks that are able to get close enough to spray down the fire. All right. And then on the 20th, the fire, they shut down Highway 21 here because they were going to do some burning operations here to try to bring that fire down towards 21 and bring it into a burn scar over here, which we'll take a look at here in a second. And then, yesterday they also moved teams to Stanley Lake. So let's look at what the fire currently looks like. This is an aerial view. It started right down approximately right here. It started working its way over to the west and the south and the east. That's when they called in that Team 5 complex management team to come in, jumped across burned those houses, jumped across the river, and started working over here and then over here. You can see there's a number of different burn scars over here. Actually, I want to pull it up on a different map because it's a little easier to see. So the fire started over here. We have a lot of old burn scars here, lots of fires in the Wapiti area. So we had one in 2017, bigger one in 2018. That's going to really help. And this one in 2003 that burned down to Highway 21 and across it is really going to help as well. So that's going to keep it from going to the northwest. Now looking over to the east, we had the Trailhead Fire in 2006. That'll help it be contained from heading toward the Sawtooth Lake. But kind of the next thing that's in its path, I'll pull up the fire activity now. This is going to get a little confusing to look at, but our hotspots are here. Highway 21, that's probably where the burn operation was going on. We had a fire start jump a ridge line or a drainage over into here with those high southwest winds yesterday. And now it is burning down towards Stanley Lake. So this is where the resources were being pulled in. Stanley Lake Complex, I believe, is currently closed. Kurt Flanagan, the SNRA Ranger, was going to close that yesterday. So this fire really kind of got out of control after being pretty stagnant for weeks. And that was all due to limited resources. There's lots of fires going on now, so they're kind of controlling them one at a time. Whichever one's the biggest, they're kind of controlling. So this one stayed small for a while. That's why it wasn't really getting any help. And now the winds are really not helping out as long as that low humidity. So let's take a look at the kind of the hot spots over time here. So not really burning. 17th is where we had that growth down towards the summer homes here, and it jumped the highway on the 18th. And then here's where it really started to blow up. This is where it doubled in size on the 19th. We had that long-range torching here that got into this area, and we're kind of working around all these burn scars. And we'll bring you all the way up to the current hotspots here. It is working its way up through this dry timber up towards Stanley, and again over here too. So it hopped over that burn scar in Canyon Creek, and it's kind of working its way around this perimeter here. Okay, let's take one last look at what's going on here. So I'm going to update this to the latest map that we have. They didn't do an IR flying yesterday, so it hopped into here. It's burning down here. I'm gonna Stanley Lake is up in the upper right corner. Just kind of move you a little bit closer here. So here's Stanley Lake. We're looking to the south. Here's the swath of land that they have to battle today. You can see the Alpine has a lot of dry, rocky terrain in here, so that's going to be a good natural barrier. But this is what worries me, is when it gets down into this canyon with these winds blowing out of the southwest, it's just going to work its way down this dry canyon over towards Stanley Lake. And then eventually could kind of go anywhere from that, but that's kind of the latest. I know it's a little bit long, but that's spent a few hours last night trying to work through all the details of how we got to this point, from a small fire becoming a really big fire, and again threatening an area that was already threatened by the Bench Lake fire just over here earlier. So it's kind of crazy how close these two are. One was human caused by Bench Lake, this one naturally by lightning, and now becoming a really big fire. So hopefully we get some more resources on this. We do have the Redfish Lake. Hopefully they can get some fire scoopers on this to slow it down, and we'll keep an eye on this.